Your evening shower habit could be exposing hidden aspects of your personality that you never realized. Here's a startling revelation. The simple decision of when you cleanse yourself might be broadcasting intimate details about your psychological makeup to the world. Recent polling data reveals that roughly 38% of Americans prefer evening bathing sessions, while 42% stick to morning routines. I personally belonged to the dawn shower brigade for years, until an unexpected hot water system failure pushed me into nighttime washing for 7 days straight. What began as pure inconvenience transformed into an eye-opening discovery, not merely about water temperature logistics, but about how this seemingly trivial timing preference could actually mirror profound psychological tendencies. While scientific literature hasn't definitively crowned either priming as objectively superior, emerging research indicates that individuals who gravitate toward nighttime cleansing exhibit distinctive personality characteristics that fundamentally influence their worldview and daily experiences. But here's where it gets controversial. These patterns might challenge everything you think you know about optimal daily routines. 1. They function as thoughtful analyzers instead of impulsive reactors. Individuals who bathe during evening hours typically transform their washing space into what researchers call a mental processing sanctuary. Following a complete day filled with various encounters and stimuli, they're intentionally creating space to mentally organize and examine what transpired, rather than instantly clearing it away from consciousness. This behavior pattern reflects a much broader tendency toward methodical, rather than spontaneous, thinking approaches. Those who wash in the morning frequently utilize their cleansing time for awakening and preparation purposes. Conversely, evening bathers employ this period for contemplation and mental organization. The distinction isn't rooted in intellectual capacity, but rather in cognitive processing preferences, specifically whether you lean toward analyzing experiences after they've had sufficient time to mentally settle and crystallize. 2. They value restorative sleep above morning preparation ceremonies. People who choose nighttime bathing are essentially making a strategic calculation. They're deliberately selecting enhanced sleep quality over morning revitalization benefits. Scientific studies demonstrate that evening washing sessions, particularly when completed 1 to 2 hours before bedtime, can significantly enhance sleep quality by facilitating the body's natural temperature regulation process. Night bathers are fundamentally communicating that sleep optimization holds greater importance for them than whatever advantages morning cleansing might deliver. This preference pattern suggests personality types that genuinely prioritize restoration and recovery processes. They'd rather secure high-quality rest than depend on morning water exposure for awakening stimulation. And this is the part most people miss. This choice reveals something profound about how they approach energy management throughout their entire lives. 3. They establish more defined professional-personal life separations. Evening washing routines serve what behavioral psychologists term transitional ceremonies, distinct markers that separate professional obligations from personal time. Through nighttime bathing, these individuals are physically removing their workday before transitioning into their private sphere. Morning bathers unknowingly transport yesterday's psychological residue into their sleeping space. Night bathers categorically reject this practice. This boundary creation behavior extends far beyond hygiene considerations. It demonstrates personalities that actively compartmentalize different life areas rather than permitting them to merge and overlap. But here's what's really fascinating. This might actually make them more effective in both domains. 4. They potentially possess elevated contamination awareness. Research examining contamination sensitivity indicates that certain individuals experience significantly greater discomfort with perceived contamination than others. Night bathers might represent those who find the concept of transporting daily accumulations, environmental pollutants, microorganisms, perspiration, into their sleeping areas absolutely intolerable. While morning bathers can comfortably tolerate sleeping with the day's residue on their bodies, night bathers find this scenario completely unacceptable. This isn't necessarily indicative of obsessive cleanliness behaviors. Instead, it reflects having a naturally lower tolerance threshold for what registers as contaminating or uncomfortable. 5. They frequently display introverted tendencies or require active decompression periods. Evening bathing sessions provide exactly what introverted personalities crave: guaranteed solitary restoration time. Following a day filled with social interactions and external stimulation, the washing space becomes an assured privacy sanctuary. While morning washing is typically hurried and purely functional, evening sessions can be unhurried and genuinely restorative. This doesn't automatically mean all night bathers are introverts, but they clearly value having a consistent daily practice that delivers solitude and sensory regulation following periods of stimulation and social engagement. 6. They demonstrate characteristics of evening energy types or delayed biological rhythms. Numerous night bathers are naturally evening chronotypes, whose energy levels and alertness peak during later daylight hours. For these individuals, evening washing aligns perfectly with when they're experiencing maximum alertness and activity levels, while morning bathing would require forcing themselves into consciousness even earlier than necessary. Research consistently shows that chronotype preferences are predominantly genetic, not personal character defects or lifestyle choices. Night bathers might simply be honoring and working with their biological rhythms, rather than constantly battling against them. And this brings up a controversial question. Are we forcing people into morning routines that actually harm their natural productivity? 7. They adopt more practical approaches regarding physical appearance. Night bathers have successfully reconciled themselves with not possessing that immediate, fresh-from-washing appearance during morning hours. They're consciously choosing practical benefits, already clean, hair dried overnight, time savings, over the immediate grooming enhancement that morning washing provides. This suggests personality types less preoccupied with immediate visual presentation and more focused on overall efficiency and logical planning. They've calculated that maintaining cleanliness holds greater importance than appearing freshly washed throughout the day. Closing reflections. The ongoing shower timing discussion unveils something essential about human diversity. We're not all designed for identical daily routines. The division between morning and evening bathers isn't coincidental. It reflects genuine differences in how people process information, manage energy reserves, and navigate their daily experiences. Night bathers aren't lazy individuals or unconventional rebels. They've made a calculated series of decisions based on their authentic personal requirements. Superior sleep over morning alertness. Evening reflection over morning preparation, bringing cleanliness to bed rather than bringing it to work. These choices reveal personalities that genuinely value boundaries, restoration, and collaborating with rather than opposing their natural rhythms. Meanwhile, morning bathers aren't incorrect either. They've simply prioritized different benefits: the awakening effect, the fresh start sensation, the energy boost before confronting daily challenges. Neither approach is inherently superior. They're different strategies designed for different personality types. What truly matters isn't when you choose to bathe, but whether your routine genuinely aligns with your actual needs rather than assumed societal expectations. In a world that frequently insists there's one correct way to approach everything, the shower timing division reminds us that optimization is deeply personal. Your bathing schedule might be revealing exactly what your particular brain requires to function at its absolute best. But here's the real question that nobody wants to address. Are we judging people's morning versus evening preferences based on outdated social expectations rather than scientific evidence? What do you think? Does your shower timing reflect deeper aspects of your personality that you've never considered? Are you a deliberate processor or a reactive responder? And more importantly, are you honoring your natural rhythms or fighting against them? Share your thoughts and let's challenge some assumptions about what makes a proper daily routine.